Top of the evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the WFCU Center, live from Windsor, Ontario. It's the Windsor Express on Knockstrom TV. Tonight, they play host to a team that they had quite fits with here on this floor, the #1 team in the league and in the Central Division, the St. John's Edge. This is Aaron Sanders with JP, Justin Prince, and before we get things started, I'll admit, both of these clubs, they deserve to be where they at right now. It is no luck, no kismet at all. The St. John's Edge, for a first-year team, they're really clicking off on all cylinders, and JP, it's mainly because of their dynamic duo, Charles Hinkle Hoops, and Carl English. What more could we say about these guys heading into tonight?
Well, what more can you say? Obviously, both of them have been really dominating really in terms of the scoring this season. You have Carl English scoring an average of about 24.5 points per game. Then you have Hinkle adding an extra 21 points per game. The best 1-2 combo, I think you can say, in the entire NBLC this season in terms of not just their scoring, but their ability on both ends of the floor. You have Hinkle with the ability to get a few assists a game, have the ability to handle the ball well, get rebounds. He's in fact averaging more rebounds than Carl English, for crying out loud, with 6.5 rebounds per game compared to English's 4.5 on the season.
No doubt about it.
It is just one of the top dynamic duels in the NBLC, and we have seen the results of that all season long with the Edge battling at the top of the standings for the Central Division.
And you know, they're going to be in run-ins for awards, and once again, too, another example of Hinkle and English providing a lot of good damage for the Express here on this court. Earlier this year, Hinkle dropped 53 points, so for those of you who are tuning in, yes, that's a large number, only for Hinkle to be topped by his partner, Carl English, by 5 points with 58 points a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that, of course, that being an NBLC record for points in a game, that was a previous record that stood for about 5 years. So it just shows the dynamic duel, really, of how they're able to score. With Hinkle, he can have the ability to become like a microwave of sorts and really just take over games. We've seen that on the Windsor court, obviously. English has that same kind of ability and the ability to be a have the leadership role on the floor for the St. John's Edge. And we should probably expect to see that again from potentially both of them tonight.
The last time these two met was Family Day, and that was a close game too. St. John coming away with it. They lead the season series. Now, on the other hand, the Windsor Express, like I said before, they could not find a way to win against the Edge here, but they found ways to win at the Mile 1 Center. But they surprised a lot of people last night with an impressive 121-108 victory over the St. John Riptide. So coming into this game, one scratch to boot here, JP. Kevin Loisel in street clothes tonight. And, you know, starting too, another change, Braylon Racing. So how will that work out in the Windsor Express favor tonight?
Well, I think it's a smart move for them because this kind of puts them at a small ball lineup, yes, but at the same time, Racing was really on fire last night. The Express had 20 triples, 20, in that matchup against the Riptide, and he was one of the main presences for that, along with Jones on the offensive front. So I think it's actually a pretty good move, in my opinion, to bring him in, sub him out for Chad Frazier, go with the hot hand from the first game of this back-to-back for them here on their home court, and see if he can keep up that same offensive ability here against the Edge, which they really need for a game like tonight.
Indeed, too. This is their last game of a 3-game homestand in 4 days, and we've seen them split the series. They lost to the Island Storm Wednesday night, and they won, of course, the night before we came here tonight. So this is going to be a good battle. The St. John's Edge, the Windsor Express, all coming up here. But first, before ball tip gets underway, we have some pregame ceremonies to take care of. We'll have the starting lineups and the anthem and game time coming up here on Knockstrom TV. About to get things underway here between the St. John's Edge and the Windsor Express here on St. Patrick's Day. But for that, for the player introductions and the national anthem, we turn it over to the PA announcer of the Windsor Express, Mr. Mark Knight.
And now let's introduce the starting lineup for the visiting St. John Edge, presented by Tourism Windsor Essex, Peely Island. The starting five include wearing number 0, Anthony Stover. Number 3 is Alex Johnson. Number 7, Ryan Reed. Number 23 is Carl English. And wearing number 24, Charles Hinkle. The head coach of St. John's is Jeff Dunlap. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the floor your Windsor Express Dance Squad. For your two-time NBL Canada champion, Windsor Express, presented by Holiday Suites. Getting us started tonight, wearing number 2, Braylon Rayson. Number 3 is Logan Stutz. A Westie nominee this year, number 11, Maurice Jones. Number 23, Sean Teal Teeth. And rounding out the top 5 is number 44, Demontre Harris. The head coach of the Windsor Express is Bill Jones. Assistant coaches are Pete Cusimano, Aaron McDonald, and Rich Hart. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please rise and remove your caps for the playing of the national anthem. Tonight's national anthem will be performed by the Dream Girls. Joining the Dream Girls at center court, carrying the Canadian flag, is Pastor Paul Riley, who is from the New Life Fellowship and is our father of the game. The Windsor Express and Curtis J.K. Printing would like to acknowledge and show our appreciation to our dedicated fathers all season long by highlighting someone new each game. Thanks to Pastor Riley and Curtis J.K. Printing.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love
Well, JP, there's one reason why they call it Faith and Harmony Night, and after that stirring rendition of O Canada, hopefully both of these clubs have a little both of that trait coming in here tonight as we welcome you folks back here on Knoxham TV, live from the WFCU Center. St. John's Edge and the Windsor Express about to do battle in the Shamrock Showdown here on St. Paddy's Day. Quickly before we get to the court, JP, what are some of the keys that you could establish for both of these clubs here?
Well, right now, one of the main keys in terms of Windsor, I believe, right now is trying to establish that tempo early on, because they know in this game right now, if they lose tonight, they can kiss any chances of getting into a second seed instead of sticking into the third seed right out the window. So for them, try and establish their offensive tempo and try and get the three-pointers working. That's what worked last night. See if that works. If that does not work, start going on to your second option, going on to the inside, giving it to guys like Harris, drive inside for guys like Jones, maybe have Chad Frazier come in at, say, the 7-minute mark if the three-point shooting does not work. For the Edge tonight, they're going to have a bit of a challenge, of course, themselves tonight, but for them, it's going to be about getting your offense to work early on and then making sure it keeps on establishing itself as the game goes on. Of course, their last matchup has not been since March the 11th, which one of the main things after an 11-day break, the Express said was the main reason for the last Wednesday, of course, was not having the chance to play at game speed in practice over that time. It's for sure time spent for the Edge, but it's still something you have to think about where they have to make sure they do that and make sure they play the best they can in every single quarter. If you allow yourself to get outscored 35-14 like their last matchup for the Edge against the London Lightning, against a team like Windsor, this game's going to be done by the time the fourth quarter starts.
We're going to check out the starting lineups before we get started here for the St. John's Edge. Anthony Stover, Alex Johnson, Ryan Reed, followed by the dynamic duo of Carl English and Charles Hinkle. For the Express, they're going to start off Braylon Layson, like we said before, in lieu of Chad Frazier. So Braylon Layson, Logan Stutz, Maurice Jones, Shaq Keith, and DeMontre Harris. As we see the referees establishing an issue right here at the scores table before we get things underway. Crowd on its feet here, too. We got a mixture of Windsor and St. John's fans here tonight, so a lot of recognition being applied here tonight. So this is going to be a Shamrock Showdown.
Definitely for sure, especially on Faith and Harmony Night, of course, with that being support of Mad Windsor, Essex County. It's time to get underway.
Glad you're joining us here, folks. We are underway, and the St. John's Edge will start off with the possession. Alex Johnson, former Windsor Express player, starts with the ball, one-on-one against Maurice Jones, former Rookie of the Year. Johnson driving, kicks it right on over to Ryan Reed, and that is flat. Once again, Ryan Reed, former NBA player too. We're seeing a lot of former NBA players here this season, JP.
Yeah, it just shows the amount of talent coming into the NBLC scene. Former players growing more and more, getting chances in this league. Of course, Reed, somebody that had appearances with the OKC Thunder. Good for him to be a part of this league, and a nice tap out, though, from Harris on the offensive board.
It looks like Chad Frazier will start instead of Braylon Layson, but Frazier's teardrop can't go. Opens up for Jones. Rattles in and out, and the quick rebound by the Edge. They are on the move. Johnson off the screen, drives inside to the basket, blocked by Harris. Here comes Jones. Keith handles the ball. He'll bring it up to the center. Slowing things down. I'm sorry, JP. As Keith spins around, gets stopped in his tracks. And here's Jones right off Stutz' pick. Keith fires it from the parking lot. No good. Stover with the rebound, former player for the Niagara River Lions and for St. John, too. Carl English, everybody talks about this guy. We'll get to him later on. Reed spins around, guarded by Stutz, falls away from 5. Got it.
A nice bucket to finally break the lid on this game right now. It's a little bit of methodical offensive play from both sides, really just slowing the tempo rather than picking up the tempo as we've seen in the Express game last night.
Jones tight ropes the sideline inside to Harris. With the footwork, with the J, very short. And Johnson's there to pick up the DB. So once again, methodical movements like JP said, but I guess that opens up for good execution between these both teams. Johnson, 3 hits off the side of the board.
Yeah, that was a decent shot attempt, but at the same time, got to make sure it goes near the mark. That was nowhere close to being on target.
Keith to the basket, no good. Gets thwarted by Stover, but Maurice gets the ball back on the side. Quick whistle. Just underway here from the WFCU Center. But once again, Carl English among the talk of the town. Not only the town, not only the province, but of the whole league and the whole Canada, considering what he has been doing for the St. John's Edge as well.
Yeah, that is for sure. Big, of course, playing for his hometown team, getting a lot of media attention, a lot of fan support in St. John's right now. Having stories about him, including and shout-outs from everyone from Leo Rollins from the Toronto Raptors broadcast crew all the way to Vice.
And Maurice Jones knocks down the three, so the Express draw first blood from beyond the arc. Will we have a same repeat performance from last night? We're going to have to find out. But yes, once again on Carl English, the whole spotlight is on him here, especially tonight with the CBC crew from Newfoundland watching his every move here. Stover to the basket, gets thwarted. Quick foul.
Yeah, and a little bit of a battle inside, of course, with that. A nice little play to try and set up for Stover, but better or smart play from him to draw the contact with the traffic around, send him to the line.
Anthony Stover off to the line here. Once again, he is the former player of the St. John Riptide and the Niagara River Lions too.
Yeah, that
misses both of them.
Yeah, you got to make your free throws, that's for sure, and that time just couldn't do that. We've seen this a lot of times this week in here at the WFCU Center. You're going to put yourself in a hole if you keep missing those.
Logan Stutz from downtown, however, back-to-back threes for the Express. They lead 6-2.
Yeah, those triples just continue to be red hot right now. Now for Windsor for the second consecutive night, not even slowing down on the pace whatsoever.
All right, Johnson has the ball, 16 seconds on the shot clock, 8:50 remaining in the first quarter. Johnson gets stripped, gets the ball back, 6 on the shot clock. Quick foul by Frazier. That's going to be the team's second foul and Chad's first.
Express foul to number 15.
Yeah, just very slow paced play is still going on so far. Just trying to let the plays develop, try and let this wind down a bit more for the shot clock, and another easy offensive foul on that.
Offensive foul by the Edge, so the Windsor Express's defense is paying off like it did last night, JP. It's only a matter of time to see if it will pay off here too tonight, because the Windsor Express, they're not known as having a consistent game after game this year, but somehow, some way, they still find a way to pull through and persevere. Jones, the lob to Harris inside. Frazier on the right side, and that's going to be an offensive foul. So trade for trade there.
Yeah, trade for trade. It just shows the tempo of this game already. A substitution being made by the Express. And not a lot of offense at all tonight already, because at this point last night, both teams were just about in double digits. Tonight, just 8 total points so far.
Both of these clubs know how important this game is. This is a potential playoff matchup as Carl English gets fouled from beyond the arc. He'll go to the line to possibly shoot 3.
You can't really foul that often from beyond the arc, if at all, really. That gives the Edge a chance now to make this back to a 1-point game, maybe give themselves a bit of a spark to wake up here for the slow start on the offensive side.
Once again, this is not the guy you really want to foul or challenge, because Carl English is 85% from the free throw line as he knocks down the first one. So once again, dividends being paid here, and it's a supporting cast of the St. John's Edge that's been helping out English, Hinkle, Glaze, among all the others under the head coach Jeff Dunlap, who's doing a stellar job with this first-year team from St. John's, Newfoundland. He knocks down all 3, making it all smooth like he was drinking a glass of water. It's as clear as it gets as Braylon Rayson, he will now come into the game. Jones going to the left side to Keith. Keith, 2-on-1. Jones, tight roping right up top to Rayson, fires a 3 in the face of Alex Johnson and gets the 3.
Yeah, another beautiful three for Rayson, already being brought into the game here already 4 minutes in, knowing they need a spark on the offensive side.
Basket's no good for Desmond Lee, and here comes the Express once again. 9-5 is the score with 7:40 remaining in the first. Jones inside to Stutz, and the foul.
Yeah, that was a nice play to try and spread the defense off of Stutz as he was cutting on towards the inside for the pick and roll. Able to get him enough space. Now he's going to go to the line to shoot two. And I think bring Rayson back, bring him onto the floor, I should really say, really shows what Windsor is what they're feeling right now, the coaching staff right now, with the way the offense has gone early on. They feel this has to really start to pick up the pace, really, or else this game could go a whole different direction. Ryan
Reed with the foul. Logan Stutz at the line. He's had a couple of troubles to the free throw line this week, JP, considering that he's only 77% from the charity stripe. He splits the pair of free throws regardless, and it's a 5-point game for the Express. English on the right side, guarded by Keith. With a muscle power inside the Reed. Fakes twice, goes to the drive, and he'll go to the line to shoot two.
Yeah, that was a nice little up and under, really, with a nice post move to draw the whistle. And now, back and forth on the free throws. This might be how things are settled down here. Kind of don't want to leave 3 points on the table at this point of the game so far with the way it's going.
This is Ryan Reed's 8th game, and in addition to that, this is his 7th start. And at the line, 82%. But once again, you got to expect that type of high-quality caliber numbers if you played in the NBA. Now transferring your power here in the NBLC. 10-7's the score. Rayson defers the pick from Parker. Tries to go inside himself, gets thwarted. 2-3 zone by the edge. Jones with the footwork, with the hezzy, with the shot, with the miss. Rebound by Reed. He's been basically the tail of the tape so far for the Edge as they are within 3 with under 7 minutes. Hinkle from downtown. Rayson with the rebound.
Yeah, and you've seen Reed there too, trying to back down his defender really for the box on a tape attempt in case that missed.
Rayson shot short.
Yeah, just couldn't make it on that, but some smart plays from Reed right now. When he's trying to battle down low in the low post, as well as try and get offensive rebounds in case something goes wrong on the outside.
And here's Lee inside the Reed again. Tight ropes it right on over to Hinkle. Misses a three. In and out like a fast food restaurant. And here comes the Express. Full on defense by the Edge. They're not letting the Windsor Express in until Keith went in. Tried to look for the foul, and he got it. So with that, he will go to the line as well.
Yeah, just a heck of a lot of chances to go to the stripe tonight, so to speak, right now, because both sides getting their chances. Keith, of course, decent from the stripe, but did have some 1-for-2s at the stripe this week, really, in the games for him.
6:04 remaining in the first quarter. Shaq Keith knocks down the first free throw for the Express. It's 11-7. Once again, glad that you're joining us here on Knoxstrom TV. Shaq Keith, once again, keep on saying he changed his game as he misses the free throw. Last tapped by, it appears to be Ransford Brempon, but it looked like Stutz touched it last, if you ask me.
Yeah, it was off of Stutz's right hand on that for sure. They can argue as much as they want. That was off of Stutz. Cold case call, bounced off him out of bounds. Nice call, or good call, I should say, in this case.
So the Express get the possession back regardless. 6 minutes remaining. Keith up top, one-on-one against English. Sizes in down, falls away with the J, off the banker. He kisses it off the glass. Good night. One thing to note too, Karan Williams is also into the game too, as he has the ball. 12 on the shot clock. Quick shot by English, once again in and out. Fast food restaurants in Windsor will be happy with this type of display, but nonetheless, that spins in and out.
Yeah, just both teams really having the lid on the baskets for them. as that's going to be an offensive foul on Keith.
Yeah, no question about it. Too much firepower from him down at the elbow. And that prompts a edge, possession, and a media timeout too. 6-point lead for the Express. Just halfway here at the WFCU Center. Well, JP, we talked about how the Windsor Express haven't been a consistent team throughout the year long. One game they play in a fast pace, the other game it's a slow pace. That is the case here tonight, knowing that they got a tough competition known as the St. John's Edge.
Yeah, this is completely the opposite of what I was expecting, honestly, to see tonight based on the previous games between these two. So it's just both of these teams are struggling on the floor and just trying to run completely different offenses for much of their year right now. Yeah, just 6 attempts, for the love of goodness sakes, from the edge right now. Just 6, 1 of 6. So it's just, I'm just speechless with the pace of this game right now. Completely different, and neither team is really executing that well on the offensive side tonight.
Grimpong over the English. English at the foul line, gets stripped away by Jones, and here they come. Stutz, here comes the jam.
Yeah, just absolutely bad pass there leading to the turnover, and just set it up again on the platter. Perfect spot for Jones to just sprint off and go off to the races to set up Stutz.
A rarity for the Edge. They are 3rd in the league when it comes as turnovers, as they have 8 seconds on the shot clock to deal with. Hinkle one-on-one mismatch on Jones, down to 4 seconds. Grimpong over to English. He's got to put it up. He does, beats the shot clock buzzer, misses the shot, but Hinkle gets the ball back. Right on over to Williams, who strokes it right over. The three's no good. Hinkle on the putback.
I still can't believe that's just their second made shot from the field in this. Just got to pick up the pace. You can already see the assistant saying, speed it up, just right behind the Express as they're setting up their offensive set.
Jeff Dunn lets teams in a 2-3 zone. Here's Rayson. Jones thinking wisely, 7 on the shot clock. Keith sizes up, down. Got it.
Yeah, that time, just nice size up to get over the defender and able to get enough separation to get it over the contested shot.
Hinkle cross courts over to Williams from downtown. He can't get it to go, but Grimpong gets the rebound. Second chance for Williams. The tap dancer's good.
I'm surprised he didn't make that on the first attempt with that, because no one was around him on either one of those attempts. Lucky to get it on the second time for the bounce.
Stutz on the cross-court lob, but he stepped out of bounds, so it'll go the other way. Once again, these are two teams that are rarely known for committing a lot of turnovers. The Windsor Express, a different example once again from last night, but it's those costly mistakes that might cost them in the long run here, JP.
Yeah, that is for sure, because if you leave 3 points on the table from the line or have a ton of turnovers, you're going to just let any league go away right now. It may be a 5-point game right now, but those can add up, those missed point opportunities and the points off the turnovers as well in those situations.
Grandy Glaze is into the game, same with Xavier Ford, who just committed a travel, so it'll go the other way. So opportunity knocks for the Windsor Express. Perhaps they could redeem themselves after that play, but then again, looking back at it at the last play, JP, Logan Stutz could have just stepped up. Once again, there's no need for the cross-court passes yet.
Yeah, that is for sure, especially with this kind of game plan tonight.
Stutz gets fouled. That's going to be on Wally Allenson, former Windsor Express player, coming off the bench as well. Like we said, Grandy Glaze is into the game too, so he's basically the nucleus when it comes to down low. We'll get to him more later on. Keith with the crossover on Ford, drives over. Here's Parker. Goes off, and the rebound is by Lee. Johnson inside the heart of the Express defense with the teardrop, no good. The fight for the ball will be won by the Edge. Maurice Jones was the last one to tap it out of bounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the court.
Yeah, already they're trying to bring in, they're bringing Sefton Barrett right now to try and bring, I think, some more hustle defensive plays right now. Tallest player on the court at this point is Eric Parker, so a bit of small ball on the floor for the Express.
Sefton Barrett comes in like you said, and it'll go the other way. So once again, we got some sort of ballyhoo going on here tonight in terms of turnovers. But Sefton Barrett, he improved his game as indicated last night. Hopefully that string continues for him for the rest of the year. The high-low pass to Stutz. Turns around, fakes left, goes right. Thought he got fouled. Will he get fouled? He'll be on the floor.
Yeah, just spun right into a traffic jam right there, trying to draw that contact again.
So the shot clock's going to be fixed. I would assume it'll be less than 15 seconds, probably the half 14. No, we'll go a little bit lower. It'll go to 13. 2:21 remaining in the opening quarter here. 17-12 is the score. Jones off the pick, fires it from deep, misses it. On the rebound is Ford. Ford driving down on Logan Stutz, reverses, no good. It gets deflected, but the referees say it's going to go the other way.
Yeah, the referee's overturning the original call there. Always best to get it the right way in this game right now, especially such a low-scoring one with 2 minutes to go.
Under 2 minutes to go. Here's Stutz tight-roping the sideline inside the Parker. Almost slams it home. The donut missed the coffee, but he's going to go to the line to shoot too.
Yeah, again, Parker open there to almost get that slam dunk to go. Just, again, nice tightrope play down the baseline to set up for the open drive to penetrate into the open paint. Now has a chance to bring this to a 7-point lead.
Eric Parker makes it a 6-point game so far. 1 minute, 51 seconds remaining here in the opening quarter. Here from Windsor, Ontario. And what has been, what my colleague has said, a very methodic game so far. Completely different from what we're seeing from the Express. But once again, not a surprise if you're watching as a St. John fan. This is one of the reasons why they are in first place. The execution. And let's see if the execution will pay off for them, because Anthony Otley Jr. is into the game.
Yeah, trying to bring in another good defender right now off the bench, and Otley Jr.
Here's Hinkle, 101 on Barrett, 24 on 24, 8 on the shot clock, and it'll be a foul down low. So not a good start if you're coming off the bench here.
Yeah, not the best of starts at all right now, especially with what will send the Edge into the bonus for the rest of this first quarter. Usually somebody that has been a pretty good defender, especially on the forward spot for small forwards and guards. That time just drawing the foul there to put the Edge now for their 8th, 9th, and 10th free throw attempts of the game already.
It doesn't help out that they're putting their best free throw shooters at the line and fouling them, because Hinkle is almost 89% from there too. 90 seconds remaining. Almost a turnover, but Braylon Rayson retains it. Otley Jr. at an unfamiliar spot for him. That's why he gave it to Rayson. 7 on the shot clock. Rayson's trying to drive, but gets thwarted. Down to 3 on the shot clock, fires it from deep, no good. Rebound by Otley Jr. And the Express will reset. Rayson down the lane, right on over to Jones. Jones crossover inside to Parker. Parker fires it, thought he got fouled, but doesn't. 9 on the shot clock, fires it, no good. So once again, ballyhoo ensues and it will go to the Edge's favor. Driving down the lane is Lee. He misses the shot. They get the ball back. 9 on the shot clock. Johnson will control it. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Down to 2. Johnson gets the foul, and another Edge player going to the line to shoot 3 shots. Not a good decision defensively.
Yeah, not at all. Just fell for the pump fake from Superman Johnson. And already Maurice Jones with his second with that. So got to make smarter decisions trying to play on the perimeter, because look at this right now with the stat sheet. The Edge are 1 for 6. No need to fight on the pump fake, because even if they still get it, it's still, yeah, a 2-point game. But now you just gave them easily the points there. The Edge are not making those shots tonight. No need to fall for the pump fake really on that one.
And the majority of those points are coming from the line. Johnson knocks down the first 2 free throws, so once again, different set of game plan applied here for the Express. Nothing that we expected at all, but then again, nobody expected the St. John's Edge to shoot 13 free throws here in the first quarter. Shot clock and game clock with a 7-second differential. 18 on the game clock, 9 on the shot. Here's Jones with the ice cream scoop, and he's going to go to the line for the and one.
A nice cut inside again. Somebody that has those smart decisions to drive inside, work his way around the defenders with his size. That time, as you said, using the ice cream scoop to lead all the kids to scream for joy with the N1.
Ice cream for ice cream. What are we screaming? Well, we can't, because I guess our voices would be tired out after the first quarter.
Yeah.
Jones completes the N1. But I'll take your offer on the ice cream after we go off the air. Maybe. We'll just see what's open downtown. So the hometown hero, Antoine Chandler, coming in, JP. He got activated, and Omar Strong got deactivated. We'll get to that later on. 10 seconds to go. Shot clock's dead. Once again, it's Johnson up top off the glazed screen. Down to 1 second. The 3 fired, and it goes out. And that's the story for the first quarter. Even though it's a 5-point lead for the Express, it's the St. John's Edge doing everything right and executing the perfect offense. 22-17 is the score. We're right back.
Come on, boys.
All right, welcome back to the WFCU Center, live on Knoxstrom TV. Express 22, Edge 17. I'm Aaron with JP, Justin Prince, and I think we should mention here first, JP, before we go any further, that when I meant the Edge were executing a good offense, I meant they are finding ways to go to the line and finding the contact, as indicated with Johnson shooting 3 free throws, same with Carl English shooting 3 free throws. They have gone to the line for 13 free throw attempts, nonetheless.
Yeah, I made 10 of them right now because as shooting from the field, they're absolutely doing horrific right now at 21%. But able to draw contact right now, that has been the main reason they've kept into this game with the 10 of 13 from the line for 77%. And right now, of course, with 5 turnovers, but as well with 5 second chance points and 5 points off the bench. But regardless of that, it's been really their ability to draw the contact with their pump fakes and their drives inside, and then put the Express in a situation where they went over the foul limit for the quarter to bring themselves to the stripe. With the Express, they've been able to keep up in the front mainly because they're still scoring at 39% from the field.
Once again, a dismissal effort from the edge from the field goal range, as they are usually 46% offensive foul. Once again, they are 4th when it comes to field goals, JP, but as for the Express, they're right under them by about a couple of tenths, 46.7%, 3rd in the league. So we're seeing a lot of wise shot choices, one of the reasons why we're seeing their field goals increase every game.
Yeah, a lot of wise choices for shots. It's just tonight not falling at the exact same rate as usual, as that's going to be a travel.
The spin cycle was a little bit too much to bear for Eric Parker, so it's a 1-2-3 call, travel.
Yeah, Coach Dunlap really noticed that probably right before that whistle went off too, so textbook travel call on the spin.
Carl English back into the game with a crossover, a high-low pass inside. The shot's good for Reed.
Yeah, another nice execution there to get the pass with 2 defenders still to his left side. Just able to hook it up with the right hand to keep it away from the defenders around him.
Antoine Chandler getting experience on the court now. Otley Jr. trying to size up against Hinkle, drives inside the spin cycle. Right on over the Barrett. Barrett, Hezzy, thwarted, time winding down, and that's short. Shot clock violation.
Shot clock violation.
So a couple of substitutions. The main nucleus with the Express coming back in, Chad Frazier and DeMontre Harris.
Yeah, basically bringing in a majority of your starters at this point, because Harris is an exciting player on the defensive and offensive sides, as we've seen all season long, able to slam it down with one hand, just about rip down the baskets here, and on the other end, ability to have some nice blocks and make it tough on the low post. Bring him in possibly to guard Reed as he sets up a pick.
Well, I'm sure every game the WFCU center staff have to check the nuts and bolts of the backboard to see if it's tight, and after every game, quick foul down low.
Yeah, you've seen Otley Jr. notice that Reed had a very open drive to the basket. Didn't want to, I think did not want to risk just a simple easy 2. Make Reed go to the line and make them. Yes, they're 10 of 13 as a collective unit, but again, don't want to just make it 100% easy to just lay it up.
So good contested performance by the Express down low, but once again, the problem is contact as Reed makes the first free throw and knocks down the second one. It's a 1-point game with 10:42 remaining in the half.
Yeah, there's still a lot of basketball to go here, and what has really been a strategy game, especially defensive strategy game at this point, with it being very low scoring.
Frazier for the 3, sends it home.
Well, somebody, I guess, sealed off the lid still. The triples are still falling here and there from Windsor compared to last night, just not the same clip.
Back-to-back 3s, Charles Hinkle on the other end.
Okay, and I think the wake-up calls are starting to go to both benches at this point. Just back-to-back triples, something that probably the quickest we've seen scoring.
Racing back-to-back 3s for the Windsor Express, 28-24.
Yeah, back-to-back in terms of possessions right now. So both sides, they're starting to pick up the scoring finally here in the early going into the second quarter.
Reed falls away, no good, tapped around, Otley Jr. takes the ball. Grayson with it, almost got double teamed, he'll slow things down, instead fires a 3, putter there. So what is going on with the Windsor Express? Overtones of last night.
Yeah, with the 23s last night, just absolutely starting to burn up the mesh. A nice drive, though, able to cut through the defense for Carl English.
Carl English just making this a Shamrock shootout now. It was a Shamrock showdown, now it's a shootout. Barrett driving down to the basket, up and no good. Tapped around and the edge retained it thanks to Karan Williams. Up top is Reed, now Hinkle with the ball. Hinkle with the rock, passing it right inside the Reed, the spin move and a beauty.
Yeah, nice beauty indeed. Hinkle knew what was going to be going on with the play, called forward as soon as the play was being brought up by Williams. Just drew it up perfectly for the play for Reed.
Otley Jr. barely gets the ball, puts it up, no good. Gets his own rebound thanks to a tap by Harris. English goes down in a heap. As Junior misses the shot, this time English gets the ball. So now the game is speeding things up here as Sefton Barrett with another foul. And we talked about this last night, JP. Sefton Barrett haven't minned into the Express system because of some of the turnovers and fouls he has applied here. But if you subtract all of that, he's a hard-working player.
Yeah, hard-working player, great hustle player, especially on both ends of the floor. Some of the turnovers, I said this last night, are caused by trying to do a bit too much on the offensive side, but he's somebody that can really be one of the main people you want to have on the floor. That's going to be a foul.
That's going to be an over and back foul by Ryan Reed. He was right on piggybacking Logan Stutz like it was a game of leapfrog. So Logan Stutz was there at the right time. It's just Ryan Reed, just a little too much adrenaline for him to try to get the OB. So it's 8:18 to go here in the first half. 31-28 is the score, and the ball will go the other way. Helter-skelter so far.
Yeah, it has just been that kind of game right now. We have the scoring burst for basically 10 points in a matter of a minute and a half combined from both sides, but slowing back right on down. I think Coach Dunlap is saying keep it slow down, bring everyone up for the isolation.
Williams has the ball, their team down 3. Williams, good scoop inside, gets stripped away. Here comes the Express. They have numbers, 4-on-3. Rayson deflects it right over the Keith. He almost saved it, and it'll go the other way. So good execution by the Express going down that timeline, but that was about it because nobody was set to get the pass.
Yeah, no one was there for the transition offense after the steal. Just out of the reach. Just a little bit too much muster, I think you can say, on that pass to be able to complete the play for what they wanted to do, which was a quarter 3.
And with that, Jones comes back into the game. 7:44 remaining. Ford on the pull-up. No good. Harris with the rebound. Behind the back, applied by Frazier. Driving in with the spin move into Harris. And once again, the out-of-bound woes continue for the Express. This ain't no circus, but they're tight-roping really heavily tonight.
Yeah, that's 4 turnovers in as many possessions there where it was a good thought for the play because Harris had no one on, DeMontre Harris had no one on him from the defense there, just down low, just too close to the baseline to go for what would have been a layup with the right hand, possibly underneath the hoop. Just shows the way this game has gone.
Hinkle gets the ball after almost getting it stripped. Hinkle with the teardrop, no good. The putback is no good either. Here comes Jones with the rebound. Frazier all by himself. Behind him is Glaze, up and in.
Yeah, and you see the adjustment up in the middle of the air from Frazier, seeing that defender, where it takes a lot of skill to be able to adjust that and still make the layup up in the midair. That time, has to go for the bit of the hezzy with the right hand to keep it up going for the nice layup.
Lee trying to break through the double team. He does, right on over the Glaze. Hinkle, upside, Desmond Lee, no good. So the Windsor Express back with the possession, 6:22 remaining. And it'll stay with the Express. Shaq Keith wanted a foul, so he's pleading his case on the up and up. And Anthony Stover will check back in.
And one of the main things you have to think about too, Aaron, when you think about it, this could be a playoff preview for the seconds between the 2 and 3 seed right now. So this could be what we'd be seeing come April, which would be an absolutely thrilling playoff series to say the very least at this point.
Harris gets flustered by Glaze and Stover. But the Express will maintain possession. They have 9 seconds on the shot clock to deal with, though.
Yeah, still having that time to really set something up, which looks like they're going to have Maurice Jones run this play and get it to Frazier.
Right on cue, Frazier knocks down the 3J.
Yep, you can see that play all the way from up here. Just setting it up for the picks to get him enough space to fade off to get a bucket, but nice coast to coast.
Coron Williams with the easy scoop, and that brings his team within 6 with 5:50 remaining in the second quarter. Off the pick of Stutz is Jones. Stutz gets the ball from the wing, no good. Rebound by Harris. Fights through the ball. Inside to Stutz. Stutz working the room. Off the glass and in. Nothing soft from the Express here tonight. A beautiful kiss off the glass gives them an 8-point game. Williams down low, double team working again for the Express. That's going to be a foul on Frazier.
Yeah, tried to send the double, I think, to force another turnover to make this a double-digit lead, but that time the Gloucester defense came on way too strong, and it leads us, I believe, into the media timeout.
And it will. 8-point game for the Express, but the Edge finding ways to come back here on Knockstrom TV. Keith running down, 34 seconds to go. Keith all by himself with the reverse, no good. Tip in, no good. Keith, another go at it. Yes, he got it.
Nice putback inside. Shot clock's going to be off for this one. Expect them to try and just run this down for the isolation till about the 10-second point here in this quarter.
No lead is safe as both clubs are about to go in the clubhouse. 10 seconds remaining. Johnson spins around Jones, gets it from the foul line, got it. The tap dancer works. Down to 2 on the shot clock, and here's Jones, got an open look for it, almost got it from the front. So impressive from what we've seen so far. A little bit weird to say the least, but it's a 47-39 lead for the Express. We'll have the Knockstrom halftime coming up for you on the other side of this break. All right, welcome back here up in the media booth of the WFCU Center. 47-39 is the score. Express over the Edge. You know who we are. Let's get right to it. First off, an apologies to a little technical difficulty about a minute ago. We rectified the situation. Now we're back to order. Speaking of order, JP, this is not the game we kind of expected. Things slowed down, and then, of course, the turnovers taking over the game. Usually the tempo takes over the game, but my goodness, a lot of errors on both of these clubs.
Yeah, lots of fouls drawn, lots of turnovers, and no one executing when they force the turnovers because each team just 4 turnovers apiece, points off turnovers, I should say, apiece right now. So there's just been absolutely no flow, no rhythm, nothing really. We've seen some quick-paced offense for maybe 2 minutes. That's about it. Right now, Windsor's still making their shots. The Edge, they're still playing like the lid's still been sealed on there since the start of the game. Just the main thing that's keeping them in is their ability at the free throw line. So it's just not been a good execution game whatsoever, Aaron.
Well, you know what? We tried to accentuate the positives as much as we can, but you could not say it any clearer. The fact that the only positive for the Edge is they're still working the ball around and they're going to the line with the good contact. But like you said, nothing do it for them when it comes to shots. So Windsor Express, on the other hand, what are some of the positives you could take in from this first 24 minutes?
First thing, of course, main thing I think that's causing the Edge issues on offense, and fans are obviously noticing this too, the way the defense is being done today, where it seems like anytime Hinkle or English get the ball, double team starts to immediately try and chill after them, and then to whoever they try and pass it off to. That cluster defense usually it doesn't work out that best, but tonight it's just been causing absolute chaos for the way the Edge want to set themselves up. They've been hitting everything short on the iron because of they cannot get enough separation to where there isn't a contested shot. Can't penetrate through the defense because there's going to be a third defender right when you need to step back to try and get away from the defender for traffic, leading to all the free throws having to be drawn tonight. So that is a positive for sure for the Express, the way they've been able to do the defense. And again, positive too, still having some of the triples coming together like we've seen last night. Not as much of a quick clip as last night, but still making them at a fairly decent rate, to say the very least.
Well, yeah, on the other hand too, it's usually the Edge's bigs trying to keep them together with addition to Carl English, but it's a different case on the Windsor Express side. The big boys are having trouble. We're seeing Stutz and Harris getting flustered with the 2-3 zone for the Edge too, but on the other hand, you leave it up to the guards. Once again, the backcourt is just taking care of business when it comes to shooting.
Yeah, it has been so far, where that's why I think you have guys like Williams trying to get things going for the St. John's Edge side. Then you have still Maurice Jones and Braylon Rayson both really scoring and assisting really at a decent clip as well. So that's the way it's been kind of set up. The forwards and the big men, for the most part, other than Ryan Reed, have been kept out of this game in the interior tonight.
What's going to be the fire in the belly for both of these clubs coming into the second half? Because we've seen time and time again, every time these two teams play, they really light a fire up on everybody else's keisters in the second half. What would you be saying if you're Jeff Dunlap and or Bill Jones?
Wake up. That is the first thought. Wake up. Because it's a 47-39 game. In my honest opinion, this is one of the lowest scoring games in the entire season we've seen for the NBLC. So somebody has to tell them, wake up on offense and get things together if you want to pull away and steal this off. One of the things we talked about a few times off air has been Windsor's inconsistency. If they have an inconsistent start to this third quarter and you let the Edge continue to really keep into this in a game where you should be pulling away by 20 points right now, other than if it wasn't for the free throws. So wake up. Wake up on the offense and get things together if you're Windsor. And the Edge have to find a way to get their offense going around the chaos. They know to expect the doubles. Maybe try and go for the unexpected. Wally Ellenson, for example. Maybe get him a bit more involved in the offense. Have him as someone I expected for this season, because Windsor gave him a shot to go into the starting lineup in the early parts of last season. He scored 20-plus points and became a fixture for the starting lineup for the majority of the rest of the season last year. That led to the Wally World fandom here in Windsor, Essex County. So maybe bring something unexpected to be your offensive spark to get this to where you get the lead back.
Well, from the Edge's side, I agree with you. Wally Ellenson, he's a guy that's known to get those second chance points, as indicated by his jumping abilities. The guy has bunnies, for crying out loud. But on the Express, on the other hand, the bigs, they got to step up too. That's my 2 cents, but since we don't have a penny anymore, you rounded up to 5. But on the other hand, too, another game going on. Tight ship going on at the Moncton Coliseum, 88-86. Moncton Magic over the Cape Breton Highlanders. Cape Breton, once again, playoff hopes are on the line. Moncton Magic, no doubt about it, but they're just playing for seeding now.
Yeah, right now, I think the main thing is for the Highlanders, because they have to win to make sure they keep up with the pace to get themselves a playoff spot. Because if they lose, their chances are all but gone. So this is something you should be expecting from a team when they know their season is done for here. This should be a thrilling finish once again. We've seen this in London, where we went to overtime with them coming away with the victory earlier this week. should expect that to be the similar case down in Moncton tonight, especially against a veteran team, with a veteran-filled team, I should say, like Moncton.
Will this be a game of execution, or it'll just be based off the luck of the Irish? We'll find out from over at Moncton and over here too. At the half, 47-39, Express over the edge. We'll come back for the second quarter in just about 7 minutes. You're watching the Windsor Express here on Knockstrom TV. All right, we're about to start the second half here. 8-point lead for the Express. As we welcome you back here on Knoxroom TV, Aaron with JP. Considering what we said at the halftime show, JP, let's hope everything just tunes up for the better, because if things continue like this might be a rough playoff match.
Yeah, both sides I'd have to definitely expect to have made adjustments by now coming out of the locker rooms after that. Both teams forcing turnovers, but not executing them. Both teams really struggling at times for much of the offense. The Edge struggling to deal with the double teams that the Express have been bringing along. There's just a list of things to go on and on that definitely both sides have discussed upon. So it is time to see who is going to be the best to execute here. Now I think if you're Windsor, got to make sure you stay consistent in terms of your shooting out of the locker room to start off this third quarter, or else you're going to let them right back on in terms of the Edge.
We're right into the second half. If you have any comments or anything to go around through your mind, check out our Twitter handles. Mine is at @SandersWindsor, and Justin's is Justin P. Sports, as Ryan Reed gets the first shot to go in the second half.
Yeah, quick bucket immediately. What the Edge needed out of that halftime break.
Here's Keith right inside the heart of the Edge defense. Reverse, no good. Rebound by Reed. Here's Johnson running the offense as always. Inside, Hinkle, Johnson, swooping through the lanes left and right. Hinkle, offensive foul.
Yeah, again, just shows how the defense has gone in terms of everything going towards the Expressway. Just that time able to draw the charge, knowing where Hinkle was trying to get enough separation going in circles. That time, Hinkle hoops, put to a stop.
47-41 is the score. Less than a minute in, and another offensive foul, this time on the Express. So maybe the message from both of these coaches mean, you know, put up a firepower and wake up, but it doesn't necessarily mean you put on those football moves on a basketball court.
Yeah, exactly right now, and just especially with the offensive fouls, the way they've been going already at the start of this quarter. Too early to go to the gridiron tonight.
English down the lane, finger roll, up and spins around the drain, goes through. Boy, howdy, it looked like forever there. And here's Frazier with the J and the miss. Stover with the rebound. And it's Johnson again, gets stripped. Here comes Stutz with the deflection. Stutz fakes, cross courts to Jones, fires it with will, no good. Frazier couldn't control it. It will be Edge ball.
Yeah, almost an absolute picturesque play, kind of play there. Just up the floor, Jones was able to see that the cookie jar was wide open, tapped it forward to Stutz for the fourth steal. Smart defensive play from one of the top steal per game players in the NBLC.
English has the ball. Quick update from the Moncton Coliseum. Moncton Magic pull through against the Highlanders 96-86. We'll get the stats on the next break. Here's Hinkle from downtown, no good. Frazier down, Stutz outside, put her there.
At that time, spreading the floor beautifully there. Every single player was really down low. And a foul right after the inbound, or something.
Right out of the gate, Chad Frazier with the foul. Looked like Braylon Rayson was going to come back in, but it looks like Bill Jones detracted his option. 9:45 in the third quarter. Stover at the top. Here's Reed now. Fake handoff, drives inside to the basket inside Stover. Almost got it slammed home, but that's going to be a foul on Keith. Good execution from Keith to be aware of the ball, but unfortunately for the Express, it was too little, too late.
Yeah, good execution indeed, and just took the words right out of my mouth there, because tried to contest the shot, but it was just before Stover went up to get that slam dunk. So it was just our textbook defensive foul there. Stover will have another chance to get more free throw attempts from the line tonight.
Once again, the stats for the Highlanders and Magic game. Terry Thomas with a traditional double-double. Yet again, 19, 10, 2 dimes and a steal. And for Cape Breton, their leading scorer, well, their leading guy the whole time, Malik Story with 26 points, 10 boards, 2 assists, and 3 steals to his name. So Cape Breton keeps on falling through the cracks in trying to get a playoff spot, so they're going to have to work harder in the final weeks of the NBLC. Keith over to Stutz from the side, misses it. Rebound by Hinkle. And Hinkle, left or right, gets the 3 to go.
Once again, that was something that worked here and there last quarter. That was transition offense. And that time, Hinkle able to pull up as the defense is preparing for the 3-2. Able to drain it with very much ease.
The referee will call that as a long 2, so it's 50-45 now. Here's Keith from the parking lot.
Another nice triple from Shaquille Keith, as he's going to have the nice defense for the double team.
Carl English catch and shoot, that's his game, misses it. Race in tightrope, steal by English. Here comes the edge once again, but all alone is Hinkle, but a quick foul by Racing before any of that transpired.
Yeah, that was a beautiful steal to see what was going on there. Racing got the ball, and of course, Hinkle right on there, seeing him trying to dribble on by, taps it in through that cookie jar, able to snatch a few chocolate chip cookies, gets the steal, of course, draws the whistle.
If he wants some of the chocolate chip cookies, he should go back to my house. My mom made a batch, and I know for sure I'm going to have it when I get home. But once again, the cookie jar is just wide open for everybody. It's just they just keep on getting caught red-handed. English inside through the traffic and all.
Yeah, Carl English again showing why he's one of the best players in the NBLC this season, as that's a huge defensive contest, but it still popped out of bounds.
Well, look who's upstairs with us, JP. Audley Stevenson, the Deputy Commissioner of the NBLC. So top of the evening to you, Mr. Deputy Commissioner.
Greetings and salutations. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're all right. We're all right. Enjoying this game so far. Quite different from what we expected so far. We thought it would be a NASCAR game, but it isn't. As Jones misses the ice cream scoop, quick rebound by Reed. There's a question I got to ask you.
Only one?
Yeah, well, one for now because this game's been so entertaining. This week we've seen a barrage of Atlantic versus Central Division matchups, and, you know, it might equal up to an NBLC final matchup as Johnson gets fouled. We're just seeing a lot of viewers coming in and just seeing what the NBLC is all about. What's the key to success when it comes to these Atlantic and Central Division battles this week?
Well, you know, it's interesting because, you know, I can vividly remember a time when there was a clear edge in terms of, no pun intended, by the way, but clear edge between the two conferences in terms of talent and strength of teams and competitiveness. This by far is the most balanced we've seen this year, this season rather. So, you know, it's been a lot of fun, that's for sure. And, you know, these guys are just going at it.
Speaking of fun, too, we've seen the Central Division. All 4 teams locked up their playoff spot. Where they're going to be placed, we don't know yet, but the Atlantic Division, they're still fighting for more playoff spots as that shot is missed.
Well, those Cape Breton Highlanders, you know, they want to make it interesting. Big win in London the other night.
Quick 3 by Keith, send it home.
Wow.
Yeah, big win from Cape Breton on Thursday. We were there, but they fell to the Moncton Magic just about 5 minutes ago by 10, so their playoff hopes are in jeopardy. But once again, you cannot sleep on a team as there's quick steal. Can't sleep on the Express. That's why the edge fouled.
A little steal in the open court there. You know, Shaq was going to make some noise. I know he wanted to on that move.
JP, the edge were clustered at that other end. They did not know what they were expecting on that.
Yeah, that time, that has been the main thing I've mentioned a few times. That has led to the offensive chaos with the edge tonight, where they're not shooting the best that we have usually seen them in terms of their season clip. Obviously, 46% coming in tonight.
Right.
Just absolute struggle tonight from the field, still in the low 30s.
Here's Keith with the step back, tap dancer in and out. Quick rebound by Hinkle. Here he comes. He's racing to the hoop. Inside to English. Puts it up. No good. Tip in. No good by Johnson. Boy, that man could fly. No wonder why it's called Superman. Inside, racing. The shot. The make.
Yeah, beautiful play.
Braylon Racing put his head down, and he had one goal in mind.
In a quick timeout because of that, Jeff Dunlap said, I have seen enough. 9-point game for the Express over the edge. We're coming back after this message. All right, welcome back here to the WFCU Center. 58-49 is the score. WFCU Center faithful on their feet. And trust me, that isn't luck or kismet. That's just them supporting their team, as they should, because they're spurting on into a good run so far.
Yeah, it has been an absolutely good run for them, that's for sure. And just continuously still, though, Windsor has still been able to keep this lead, still in the high single digits. But still, the defensive clusters have still been working for them to keep up the double teams, along with their ability to just cause chaos when trying to get the ball to Hinkle and English tonight.
Oddly, is there any shock that a first-year team like the Edge is providing so much success, and especially on the court and off the court?
Sefton Barrett's not going to like that foul, but there was some contact out there. This is a great game, guys.
Absolutely. Sefton Barrett once again with the foul. Once again, he's been having fits on the court. But back to the question, is it any surprise at all that a first-year team like the Edge is providing so much success on and off the court?
Well, going into a new market, this is kind of what you hope for. So, I mean, in terms of how they've had the level of success has been phenomenal. And, obviously, they assembled a great coaching staff, fantastic players. Having a guy like Carl English is like lightning in a bottle, so to speak, and the immediate impact that he's had. So this is ideally how you would love to start every franchise start off their first year.
And speaking of first years for franchises, we got a question from Dale Haynes for that exact reason. What is the latest update for the expansion for Sudbury for the NBLC? Expansion for Sudbury. What's the up-and-coming word on that?
Sudbury, they're going to have a press conference in May. Look at Alex Johnson scoring. They're going to have a press conference in May that we'll be in attendance of. They're going to major announce with respects to certainly team name, logo, colors, all that good stuff. They may have a coach / GM announced at that time. We're not sure, but they've got a few things in mind.
Taken away by Hinkle. Here he comes. Here comes the easy shot. It looked like a jam, but he just took it in easily.
Yeah, so we're expecting a lot of big things out of Sudbury, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to see how they evolve in the coming months.
And that building is ready, too. I mean, especially with the owners, too. So they've been waiting tooth and nail day after day to get into this. But now the press conference, the moment of truth coming up soon as DeMontre Harris misses the shot and the rebound by English. So the St. John's Edge, you do not let this team lullaby you to sleep. They are something else as English gets the shot off and misses it. Here's the rebound.
Yeah, that time had it basically shut off right there for a silver platter there, but unable to get the layup there. Of course, with St. John's, of course, being in the Central Division, and with Sudbury coming in, I want to ask you this as well, Mr. Stevenson. What does it look like for the divisions for next season as Racing almost drains the three? The divisions for next season.
Yeah, what does the division look like for next year? Because we're going to have some uneven teams, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But here is
so
Racing.
Loud here, Justin. I didn't hear all your question, but it sounds like you're asking about the divisions of next year.
Yeah.
As far as next season goes, we will have the St. John's Edge go back to where they geographically make sense to be, which is in the Atlantic Division. And then, of course, the Sudbury, we don't know what to call them yet, the Sudbury whatevers. They'll be joining the Central Division, and there will be an imbalance, if you will. That's not to say that there could not be a new franchise that happens between now and then. There's always conversations, with individuals who express interest. Sometimes they're tire kickers, sometimes they're a bit legitimate, and they really are looking at establishing something, but nothing at this stage that's we're able to sort of comment on or verify.
There are a couple of names I would actually think about Sudbury, but I don't want to give the owners or any of the fans any idea. That's up for them to find out.
Okay.
So you didn't hear it from me, the Sudbury owners or the fans. That's up on you guys. So anyway, Wally Ellison comes into the game, and that's one of the guys that's been springing up quick in his second year. And Hinkle looks to go out of bounds, and he does.
Looks like the ball bounced out of bounds there. He wasn't happy with himself. Go back and play D. That's how you do it.
Absolutely. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Express 60, Edge 53 here on Knockstrom TV as Jones misses the three. Parker with the bunnies puts it in. Whoa, me oh my, flying chickens in the barnyard. You talk about action and second chance points. Eric Parker provides the damage.
Yeah, that takes absolute skill to get that kind of bucket there, because There was a lot of traffic in there. Very beautiful play to be able to just tap it in with the one hand to be able to put it in. Takes a lot of skill to do that and forces the miss.
But Hinkle gets the ball on the other end. Hinkle sizes up. Here is Lee down to the corner. 2 on the shot clock. Fires away. Doesn't get the foul, and that ball is short and flat as day old soda. Shot clock violation applied, and the Express get the ball back with 3:21 remaining.
Yeah, that time trying to draw a third foul for 3 free throws tonight. That time didn't go that time by for the St. John's Edge. So they've had a lot of success from the stripe that time, not going to that this time.
Completely low-scoring game for both of these clubs. Racing from the parking lot, no good. Lee with the rebound. Boy, howdy, almost looked like a bumper car crash there as the shot is missed.
Goaltending.
But it looks to be goaltending. Add 2 more for the Edge. That will make it 62-55. Once again, good hustle for the Express, but once again, if the ball is on its way down, that's 2 points.
Yeah, that's 2 points indeed. Of course, you got to remember there is FIBA rules for the goaltends. You can get it if it bounces off the rim and more out of the cylinder. That time, though, it was still up in the air. Textbook goaltend.
There you go. 2:54 remaining in the third quarter in what has been a low-scoring game so far. Racing over to Sefton Barrett. Barrett right on over to Jones, who skips it right inside to Keith. Keith want to go work on his former teammate. He does. Falls away. Send it home.
Shaq's feeling it tonight, guys.
Shaq has changed his game from shooting from beyond the arc to being a bully on the boards, and with that, it's 64-55.
Just really impressed with the Express's composure tonight, and really every time the Edge sort of get within a few points or start to build momentum.
Here's Barrett with a steal with a fancy razzmatazz. Barrett, the footwork, the bucket. He'll go to the line for the and one. He's beginning to look like a guy that's really gaining a lot from the Windsor Express. Had a good game last night, having a good game tonight. Really stirring up wonders as Charles Hinkle will go on the bench for the present time. And Sefton Barrett's off to the line. But oddly, another thing is when it comes to the second half of this season, all the teams really click on all cylinders. Even though they have a slow start, they finish off strong. And it's quite an indication of how powerful and forceful the NBLC is when it comes to their competition down the stretch.
Well, look, man, it's about playoffs, right? We're no more in that era where everyone is all in. You know, everyone gets in. You know, you're fighting for a spot. You're fighting for loose balls there. But you're fighting for playoff positioning and trying to get in. And you know, you don't want to be on the outside. You want to be on the inside. So there's no surprise in that second half of the season, you know, we see things pick up.
It's a crying shame that one team from each division has to sit out for the playoffs, as indicated last year. Niagara was a win away from making the playoffs. Same with Cape Breton, and Cape Breton are on the doorsteps of unfortunately accomplishing the same feat. But once again, a few weeks left in the season could decide a lot.
You know, mathematically, you know, Cape Breton still is in this. They don't have a whole. Oh, great backdoor play.
And Desmond Lee with the bunny slams it home.
Yeah, mathematically it's not over yet, but you keep fighting to the final buzzer.
That's what both of these clubs are doing. 9-point game with 1:30 to go. Here's Jones with the crossover. Inside the Shack, Magic Johnson wheelbarrow pass to Barrett, misses the 3. The rebound by Williams. Williams goes off the Reed pick, defers it right on over to Ford. Ford back to Reed, goes inside to the hoop. Boy, howdy, did he miss that. Here comes Keith down the lane with the foul. So that's a frustration foul if I ever seen one, goodness gracious.
Yeah, that time just trying to cut inside again.
St. John's foul, number 33, Wally Owens, and his third.
Yeah, Wally Owens already having his third, team 5th already. But still, a couple fouls to give here for the rest of this third quarter. That time, though, not going to the stripe.
Once again, if you're tuning into the third quarter, joined by Deputy Commissioner Audley Stevenson, as we are under a minute to go here in the third quarter. Racing to the hoop. Once again, guards like these could have a future in the NBLC as Lee goes up and a foul.
You got to stop ball. I think the defense was too casual getting back there and gave Desmond Lee an opportunity to get a step. And now he's going to the line.
That's the advice for you kids out there. You even have your son here tonight, so.
Yeah, the little homie's keeping me in check. You know, he's got my back there, making sure I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do. He makes sure my tie is straight and I'm saying the right things. And a little PR manager over here.
Well, there you go, right there, folks. Junior Oddman in the building as Lee misses the first free throw. 45 7/10 remaining here in the third quarter. He splits the pair. So we're going to have a quick substitution. Carl English returns into the game. Once again, Carl English, a guy that everybody cannot stop talking about. We even have the CBC Newfoundland crew over here shooting something about the St. John's Edge, so that's how popular he is, considering he broke the record books for 58 points a week and a half ago.
That was crazy. I mean, to watch that performance is magical. I've probably watched that easily half a dozen times.
They have a good community and a good staff, too. Shout out to their commentators, Steve Power and Doug the Professor Partridge, as Sefton Barrett goes in. But before that, a foul. Bill Jones wanted to goaltend, but that was far away from going down.
Yeah, and I think there is a very close play by the stanchion.
Whoa, wait a minute. They're going to count it. I'm sorry, folks. Let me stand aside for a second. That ball did not look like it was going to go on its way down, but nonetheless, looks like they're going to give him 2 points, guys.
Yeah, that didn't look like it was going down from the angle I had too either here, but again, gotta go with the hand dealt there. English, though, having to go to the bench because I think that he hit the left side of his head on towards that stanchion, around near that stanchion.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the court for the Windsor Express, number 4.
Antoine Chandler's just getting minutes here, JP. We usually see him in garbage time, but we've seen him play in the first quarter. Now we're going to see him wind down the third quarter as his team has an 11-point lead with 26.9 remaining in the third quarter. With that, Shaq Keith comes out. Same with Logan Stutz.
And trying to go add some extra defense here to make sure that stays double digits.
We saw a foul there.
So we got a foul there, and that's going to put the Edge over the, that's going to put the Express over the limit, rather. 19 seconds now.
Number 22, Anthony Otley Jr., his second.
Anthony Otley Jr. picks up his second foul, which means Shaq Keith, after a quick breather, will check back in for his teammate.
Yeah, substituting defense for offense here potentially with Wally Ellenson for that last second shot, because Windsor will probably do it where it goes isolation for until 10 seconds on the shot clock. Have the shots up with about 5 seconds left on the game clock, I should say. Leaving a few seconds just to get something off there. So maybe that's the logic behind bringing in a guy like Ellenson, who can also, at the top of that, bring some intensity on the defensive side of the floor.
Shot clock's dead now, 12 seconds remaining in the third. Barrett 1-on-1 against Ellison. Here's 7 seconds. Down to 5. Racing from downtown, no good.
Tough shot, man, over the outstretched defender's arms.
And Ellison doesn't get it off in time, and that's the end of 3. Audley, thank you for your time, and good luck for the rest of the way.
Guys, thank you. I appreciate it. You know, keep up the good work. I know how hard you guys are working, and believe me, I say this with the utmost sincerity. It's very much appreciated. It's your efforts and hard work and dedication that makes this league really go. So thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Audley. That's the Deputy Commissioner, Audley Stevenson. We're at the end of 3, 69-60 the score. We'll come back for the fourth quarter right after this message and a word from Knockstrom TV. Here we go. Final 12 minutes of action here from the WFCU Center. 69-60 is the score between the Windsor Express and the St. John's Edge. We just had Audley Stevenson, the Deputy Commissioner of the National Basketball League of Canada, join us. And now it's just a two-man crew now. This is Aaron Sanders with JP, Justin Prince. And you know what? A 22-21 third quarter in favor of the Windsor Express. But once again, low-scoring affair usually equals to a tough defense, but we haven't seen a lot of that so far. So nonetheless, it could come down to the fourth quarter here, JP.
It definitely could, that's for sure, because yes, you've had some strong defensive plays, but this was just a +1 advantage in the quarter for the Express. So it is time now to really buckle on down. This could be close to the finish if it keeps up at the same pace.
Whoa, buckle up for that cross-court pass as Logan Stutz gets fouled by Hinkle.
And that was a nice pass to the outside, down that baseline to try and pass it out, but draws the whistle. So now fresh 14 to try and set this up.
Dismissal display from shooting for both of these clubs after the end of the third quarter. 36% for the Edge, 39% for the Express. So something's got to give here. Yes. And somebody's got to get some high-quality shots as Jones fires it from the key and got it.
Well, that's a decent quality shot there. A few steps inside the mid-range. Maybe get a few string of those together, get on a run, seal things off for either side.
We'll see what happens here. English right on over the lead, gets the left side all by himself, fights through the basket, up and in. So we have a quick foul after the basket, JP. Logan Stutz seems to be a little bit banged up, but he's staying back into the game.
I don't think it was a foul. I think it was just making sure the elbow was okay. Want to make sure there isn't any blood drawn or anything like that, and that could go down on the floor. Just wanting to be precautious there, right there.
We've seen Stutz hobbling a little bit as he passed the timeline. 10 on the shot clock. Here's Rayson with the ball. Rayson right on out to Jones. Misses it from the front. Here comes English with the rebound. Johnson behind the back. Fakes right, goes left, goes right. Out to the key. The shot's no good. Here's Jones down the lane. Jones in to Parker.
And that was like walking towards a brick wall, but good, smart ability really inside to not just penetrate the defense, but able to get that, but a nice steal attempt from Stutz.
Penetrative steal by Stutz. They'll slow things down. Jones crosses over through the heart of the defense. He gets fouled. He's off to the line. So both of these clubs, JP, they are far away from their points average. The Express average 107, the Edge average 108. So you best believe this game's going to come down right under the century mark in what has been a unusual game.
Yeah, it definitely has been an unusual game. This will go down as potentially one of the lowest scoring games in the NBLC, at least for the Windsor Express and their opponents combined. So it's just been that type of a night where free throws and finding ways to execute with everything going on around you in terms of the turnovers going on for both sides has been the way to get it to go, really. And Windsor, of course, they being decent from the field, still shooting about 40%, +5 in field goals made with 11 triples. That's one of the main reasons they're up as much as they are at this point.
Here's Hinkle from downtown. From the corner, he's got it. Charles Hinkle cuts the lead down to 10 with 9:50 remaining in the fourth. So a lot of fans hoping this quagmire of a game turns into a barn burner. Here's Frazier. Right back to Stutz. It looks like he traveled, and he did. 1, 2, 3 on him.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, trying to step forward. But again, just shows everything that was been going with turnovers. Now Windsor's up in double digits in turnovers per game right now. I mean, for the game, I should say right now. But no one's been able to execute. Look at this right now. 12 turnovers from the Edge. They got 9 points off turnovers from the 10 they forced for the Express. Just 10 for the Express themselves right now. So no one's been able to execute when they've been having strong defense. And that sets up Hinkle for the nice triple.
Hinkle hoops, docks down another 3 ball. DeMontre Harris is back into the game. What's going on through the mind of Bill Jones when it comes to DeMontre Harris? Because he's been flustering down low within the last 2-3 games.
I think what's going through his mind right now is play through it, try and get smart decisions right now. And this is a nice smart decision there, drawing the whistle. It looks like he didn't want that exact play to go like that for Harris. And that's what exactly I think he's trying to vocalize to his players.
Yeah, we've seen Bill Jones year after year, one of the elite coaches of the NBLC, as he paces up and down on his sideline, being vocal to his players. That's what he does best in his 6 years here in this league. Harris knocks down the first free throw, meanwhile. Once again, we're the only game in town here at JP, but once again, it's only a matter of time before, once again, this quagmire turns into a barn burner.
Yeah, this quagmire might just turn into an absolute firestorm, not just a barn burner, an absolute firestorm. And there's an hour whistle for a defensive foul on Stutz.
Stutz a little bit too aggressive down from the parking lot. That's going to be his third, and only the team's first foul. Exactly 9 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. 77-68 is the score on Knoxstrom TV with Aaron Sanders and JP Justin Prince. Hinkle loses control of the ball. He'll stay with them. They'll have 13 seconds on the shot clock to deal with.
Yeah, just couldn't keep the dribble there. If he would have kept it, might have been able to get an off-balance shot down the mid-range, but again, chance to reset and get a better quality shot.
13 seconds on the shot clock. Inbounds pass goes high to Hinkle. English down the lane, gets triple team, opens up for Johnson with the three. So 3 gets the 3, and the lead is now 6.
Yeah, that time, just spreading the floor again. They know the double teams have been coming towards some of their top players. That's where you go towards the unexpected. That time,
here's
getting
Harris.
away from Johnson.
Here's Harris working the room on Reed. Gets flustered, stopped in his tracks, 10 on the shot clock. Stutz loses control of the ball, goes into the hands of Johnson, and here comes English. English, pop-up 3. No good. Harris. Well, correction, that was Keith with the rebound. But nonetheless, here they come down the court. They ping-pong. Good golly, flying chickens in the barnyard. Somebody's got to control the ball here.
Yeah, this is getting out of hand with the ball handling. Where was the defense?
Too easy, and too easy of a shot that Jones just missed. My goodness. You got not only flying chickens, but flying hens. Hinkle misses the 3 from top. Boy, howdy, somebody has to gain control of this game right now, or else it might go helter-skelter.
I'm pretty sure it is already past that point. At this point, but a nice pick and roll for Harris.
Here's Stutz right around the world. Here's Keith. He has a crack at it. One-on-one against English. With the foul. Back to the free throw line he goes.
He originally had the first option with Harris, but I think they were wanting to go more towards the outside. That was the option that was there before for Stutz when they went towards Harris down low before. That time, Keith's able to draw the contact when the ball gets to him, and he tries to go for the mid-range.
Grandy Glaze comes in. Carl English picks up his third as Keith knocks down the first free throw at 78-71.
Yeah, and of course Barrett's in as well, meaning they're trying to go more towards a defensive lineup the Windsor Express are right now. Here for these next few minutes to try and keep this to the way it is, not let the edge back into this one.
It's been the Shaq Keith show. He leads his team in scoring with 19. Hinkle steps in, misses the shot. Barrett tries to save it, but he can't. It will be edge ball. Once again, good hustle for Barrett, but he was just put at the wrong position.
Yeah, he's one of the main players that have really stood out to me in terms of hustle for the past couple of months with the Express. Just trying to force any kind of hustle plays he can on the defensive side. That time almost forcing a steal, and another almost forced turnover, and leads to a turnover.
Carl almost turned him into pretzels. Here's Barrett down the lane, puts it up, and one! He's going to the line for the and one. Boy, howdy. Sefton Barrett, he just makes up for after falling down on the floor. Carl English tried to make his ankles into pretzels, but he said absolutely not. And Shaq Keith gives him the approval.
Yeah, Bill Jones also giving the approval. What did I just say? Hustle to force turnovers like that. That time disrupted the ball handling at the top, then kept up the hustle as Chad Frazier also went for the dive for the steal, and he goes rushing down to get the N1 with a hustle play with the contact. So this crowd, absolutely ecstatic right now. I'm pretty sure that barn burner and explosions from the chicken coops just started with that, N1.
Everything's just calming down here now in forms of the game, but it's rowdy here at the WFCU Center. 7 minutes and change left. Ankle down the lane off the left hand, and it goes. He's going to the line for the N1 as well. Count the basket.
Yeah, just able to cut inside again, and I believe that might have been on Barrett.
Express foul number 24.
Yep, it is on Barrett. So great play on one end then. That time, just couldn't try to get a block that time instead though. Ends up getting towards the arm, I believe. And ends up leaning towards that to bring it back to 8.
82-74 is the score, 6:53 remaining in this one. Jones off the pick, right on back to Frazier. Frazier between the legs. Fights through the corner. Barrett open to Jones. Loses control of the ball, but they'll retain possession. 7 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, I think that was a much-needed chance to reset again. Barrett had the chance to get a triple, but tried to have the extra pass to set up Jones. Just the defense was ready for that extra pass that time.
5 seconds on the shot clock. It will be up to Keith. Down to 3. Fires it from deep. Send it home! Shaquille Keith becoming a monster of a game here. 85-74 is the score. The Edge looking for answers. They're down 11. Johnson almost loses control. Regains balance. Fires it all the way. They'll play on until that. And now we're going to have a little bit of a... We're going to have the Boo Birds come back here to the WFCU Center. Less than 24 hours removed, they come alive again. Talk about the flying chickens in the barnyard. I think a couple of Boo Birds has just been added to that too.
Yeah, that is going to get... That reason why the Boo Birds are coming out, that's the 6th for Sefton Barrett. So he is done for the night. That is why the fans are upset. Losing a hustle player like that for the defensive end. Now they got to shuffle up the deck. Now going with the small ball lineup, having to go for a strong offensive attack to try and steal this off instead of trying to have 4 steals.
This is where the Edge capitalize here in the fourth quarter as Ryan Reed gets the J to go over DeMontre Harris with 6 minutes remaining. 9-point game. Keith right near the timeline. Going one-on-one against Hegel, gets the pick from Harris, but a little bit flustered. Goes to the left side, fires it, no good. And that's another foul. I think DeMontre Harris' intent is to rip the bolts from the rim off the backboard. Probably cause a delay here. So let's hope the WFCU Center has an extra rim, because if he keeps on making dunks like that, we might be in for a delay.
I don't think that's the intention of anyone here. But of course, you got to remember too that you do have a backup hoop available as per league standards and league rules as of a few years ago. And of course, you have to notice those orange tethers, those try and ensure the basket, doesn't fall on top of players on the basketball court. Just shows, though, when he tries to slam it down as much as he does, the strength that a guy like Harris has right now.
I know, but I'm just saying, if we have delays like this, it might slow the game down to what was quite indicative in the first half. So I'm just hoping none of that happens as we get a timeout here. This is the type of stoppage you could allow here. We have a timeout on the floor, media timeout, 87-76. We're right back. All right, we are back. WFCU Center NBL Canada action here on Knoxstrom TV. The Express with an 11-point lead over the St. John's Edge. The Express en route to picking up their first home win against the St. John's Edge after taking care of business twice at the Mile 1 Center earlier this year. Low-scoring oh, look at this. We're looking at the Jumbotron, folks. It looks to be that it is Bill Jones's birthday. Let's get the congratulations and happy birthday out of the way. Talk about Love Jones.
Yeah, Bill Jones, of course, with this organization for many years now, and one of the most honored coaches, of course, in the NBLC, one of the winningest coaches in the NBLC. Happy birthday for him for sure. And the fans, you can see they did everything but sing happy birthday after that.
Well, I don't know if it'll be a stirring rendition like we had for the Dream Girls at the national anthem as that shot goes off. But once again, you gotta tend to wonder. Anyhow, we're back to this game. 87-76 is the score. 5:20 remaining in the fourth quarter. Grayson through the heart of the defense, misses it. Chad Frazier on the putback.
Nice putback from Chad Frazier. But players down on the floor, that's not going to be good for the Express.
Yeah, Braylon Rayson is down, and unfortunately, he's no stranger of being decked like that. As you remember, in an early season game at Budweiser Gardens, there was something wrong with his eye, so he had to get out for a couple of games. But luckily, he's in the upright.
Yeah, that game, of course, getting poked in the eye socket. Not a pleasurable experience whatsoever, to say the very least. Having to go onto the inactive list from that, and a bit of a scare with that at that time, but still, good to see is still on the floor after that.
Thank goodness. 5 minutes remaining in the fourth. Hinkle, high-low pass inside the Reed, takes it home. And immediately, Speedy Demon for the Windsor Express, they're not having no breaks, they're just playing on. Here's Keith down low with the scoop and a beauty. Shaq Keith with the reverse scoop.
Yeah, this has to be one of his biggest point performances, if not the best so far from him. Carl English, though, putting some English on that shot.
Not if Carl English could say anything about it. Oh yes, a little bit of English on there. Boy howdy. 91-80 is the score. 4:26 in the fourth. Frazier gets the step on English. Before that, a foul. It's quite rare to get Carl English off his feet like that.
Yeah, quite rare for sure in that time. Got him a bit off balance, and now it's going to send Windsor to the line with the bonus.
Windsor Express doing a good job here. They're in the bonus situation now as Chad Frazier goes to the line. Once again, he's been a guy that could get the hot hand immediately, but that free throw wouldn't go for him. 4:20 remaining here in the fourth quarter. St. Patrick's Day. We send out our happy St. Patrick's Day greetings to each and every one of you. Hope you guys are having a good time, and for goodness sakes, be safe for the rest of the night.
Especially on Faith and Harmony night, which is, of course, support of Mad Windsor, Essex County. Definitely want to stay safe, for goodness sakes.
Please do.
Yes.
Outside is Williams. Boy, flat as day-old soda as the rebound is applied here by Rayson. Crowd liking the action so far, under 4 minutes remaining. Frazier with the step, misses the bucket. DeMondre back taps it, saves it. No, he doesn't. Stepped on the line. And Bill Jones will plead his case now.
Yeah, that was a good hustle there, but no one was there for the tap back for that to work there. If you had a person in the corner still, would have been a wide open triple. That time, though, he had to try and do two things at once, trying to do a second back tap while keeping it alongside that baseline. Too much in that close situation.
Carl English, catch and shoot. He got it. Carl English pulling his troops back with a 9. Keith off Harris's pick. Goes inside to the basket, gets fouled again. Once again, Shaq Keith has just been bulldozing the edge so far with this performance.
Yeah, 27 points right now, of course. One of his best season points totals, that's for sure. In fact, his season high, his previous season high, I believe, was 26 points against the London Lightning on January 28th. And that was in 20 minutes at that time. So great performance from Shaq Keith. That is for sure. Chance to reach what fans are waiting for, to reach towards 30 points. Chance to get to 29 right now at the line.
Well, remember, in addition to that, too, he had a stellar performance at the beginning of the season, too, against the London Lightning as well. Just shooting from the Budweiser Gardens logo to the parking lot everywhere. So, once again, this might be a good omen that Shaq Keith is ready for playoff time. Remember, we talked to him when they lost to the Island Storm. He says we need to tighten it up on the second half situations, and we need to provide more pressure. And that's what he said after the loss against the Island Storm. And you know, the Express now are paying extreme dividends as they're up 11.
Yeah, with 3:18 to go, and they have definitely done that, especially with the pressure tonight.
Quick whistle, however, that shot won't go for Karan Williams. The Express have plenty of fouls to give. It looks to be 3 more to give. And I say, why not? You're using the St. John's Edge to your advantage in terms of fouls.
Yeah, right now that is just their 13th foul, so they do have a few fouls to give, and a nice, strong, smart play on the inbound to see that for Jones.
Maurice Jones, former Rookie of the Year, goes to the basket, and the foul. Once again, wise decision by the Edge to foul him because it looks like he was going to be all by himself. But I would assume that would be a frustration foul because nobody, even with glasses, saw Maurice Jones take that ball away.
Yeah, that, I don't think anyone was expecting that. I think it was trying to be an inbound play more towards the left side of the floor, but Jones seen that coming on a country mile. That no one else was around there. No one else was noticing that. Just perfect spot once again. We've seen this time and time again from where you try and pass it forward to an advanced spot. There's Maurice Jones, able to get another steal once again. There's a reason he's one of the top players for steals this season.
Hinkle down low, fires it, and they will count it. And Charles Hinkle will have a chance to go for the 3-point play with 2:58 to go.
Express foul number 44.
There's still time for them to try and claw back, but it's going to get tougher and tougher with not Tupperware. Here with the more it goes back to back.
But if anything, both of these clubs could seal the game with the lid like a Tupperware.
Exactly. Especially Windsor at this point. But a missed free throw and a missed opportunity. But a lane violation bails them out.
Once again, it's one of those mistakes you do not want to make, and it looks like it's going to be on the Edge. So either way, if that shot would win, that would have been disallowed. 2:58 remaining in the fourth quarter. Express 96, Edge 85. Frazier penetrates inside Harris. Harris goes to work.
Another nice, beautiful play under the bucket. And you might have to start getting your Tupperware packages out because I think it's time to start sealing up those lids.
That's 8 points for Harris as we approach the 2-minute 30 mark. English downtown. That's another flat soda on the table of our media booth, JP.
Yeah, that was way off the mark, and of course they called a timeout, so gotta draw something up at this point because that weak old soda, you should really say, because day old soda you can still drink pretty decently in terms of some of the sodas, but now time to steal those Tupperware containers up with about 2:30 to go.
Jeff Dunlap wants to talk it over, so watch these messages. All right, things appear to be wrapping up here at the WFCU Center. 98-85 is the score, 2:27 remaining. The Windsor Express, they took care of business in the Mile 1 Center twice this year. They have yet to take care of business here, but tonight seems to be a different story despite a low-scoring first half, JP.
Yeah, it has been a completely different story, but even with the low scoring. So It just shows what we could expect come playoff time in terms of the intensity and what we should expect for once what would be X's and O's, as that one's tapped out of bounds on the kick.
So we see the St. John Edge putting on full court pressure.
St. John's.
St. John's. You see, that's a problem right there. When you have a Riptide come in one night and the Edge on another, once again, it's a bit confusing. Once again, the Express are playing 3 games on 4 nights.
Yeah, but look at this beautiful break of the trap here. St. John's knowing they have to get a steal and a bucket now to keep their chances alive in this one.
9 on the shot clock. Rayson got the ball, and now the time is in his hands. Gets the crossover dribble on Hinkle, puts it up to the basket. No good. Rebound by Ellenson. Loose ball on the ground, recovered by Harris.
Well, just absolute calamity, so to speak, on that, and I don't even know what to say with that. But Harris, the beneficiary of that, with another steal.
Another steal. Calamity is right, and it's stolen by Williams. Good golly. And Williams will take the 3 himself, and that goes short. But Ellison on the putback, up and in.
It feels like we're back to the start of the first quarter right out of this timeout. Absolute confusion those past couple possessions, as here comes more of an intentional foul.
And that's one of the intentional fouls they have no choice but to give. Time winding down for them. One thing to mention too, Russell Bird is inactive today for the Edge, so they're losing.
Yeah.
They lost that 3-point edge that Bird usually provides, but nonetheless, they're putting up an admirable effort here.
Yeah, but they also decided to bring in a guy like Stover back for the activation with that. Somebody that's good on the defensive end and somebody that is good in the low post. So you got to think of the positives and negatives in that kind of an adjustment for the active inactives for roster. They felt that would be the necessity for tonight. He's played fairly well tonight, but still 15-point game with 1:30 to go.
If this was a playoff series, it would basically go off a home court advantage, which the Edge have. Hinkle fires it, makes a prayer, but puts it up on the putback, misses it. Third chance for him, up, no good, tip by Ellenson.
Yeah, and of course that execution really started with the chase down from Hinkle, knowing there was a chance that was going to miss. Didn't want to keep it a risk, almost got the putback. And a round of applause for Maurice Jones as he goes to the bench.
Garbage time now as Antoine Chandler comes in. He'll probably play out the last 1:09 here in this game. So Bill Jones is going to have a happy birthday with this win. Here's Stutz inside, count it, and a foul. Logan Stutz this time going to work. It was usually Shaq Keith going down low, but now Logan Stutz have a crack at a 3-point play.
Yeah, I think it's time to break out the birthday cake because he's going to have a very happy birthday with this victory. Still about 4 games back in the standings towards that second seed where you have London and St. John's trying to go neck and neck to still get that 1 seed. Still with the tiebreakers, of course, to factor in on top of that.
Once again, a shout out to the whole Windsor Express staff and organization. Shout out to our crew here on Knockstrom TV. Izzy G, our camera operator here tonight. And then once again, a happy birthday to Bill Jones. I expect cake at the media booth after this game, after we sign off, because this win will take the cake.
Yeah, this will absolutely do, and this is going to be a delicious victory. Still some tough plays for the Edge, knowing there's still a lot of time, but this is going to be an absolute challenge with 45.8 seconds to go. It's all but done now.
Despite the Edge trailing right now, tip of the hat to Wally Ellison trying to chip away at this lead in the last 5 minutes. Boy, howdy. No question about it, his vertical and his abilities to get second chance points is the one thing we miss here as the Windsor Express. But you know what? That's an extreme positive with the St. John's Edge. And you know what? They got to look nowhere but up because probably Wally Ellison is going to be at the rim.
Exactly, one of those players you love to have on your team. In fact, talk to me a little bit of last time the Edge were in town, of course. Says, of course, there is some differences, of course, with the city with it saying more it's a European feel, so to speak. But still, good organization for him to be a part of with the St. John's Edge this season. Of course, in their inaugural season, but already putting together a lot of standards for the NBLC, so to speak.
It's a good organization in general. You know what? It's the major benefit of this league. A lot of people don't expect expansion teams like this to rise up to the top immediately, but the St. John's Edge have done it. The staff, the crew, the players, even the broadcasters, they are really making a bold standard and a template for all NBL Canada teams that come here, especially with Sudbury coming in next year. Winding down here, final half minute here in this game. Wadley Jr. with the ball. Goes down the lane. Easy two. 90. It's 108 to 93 now. Shot clock off. Here's Johnson. Up and in. 108 to 95. So the Windsor Express, another win for them, and their first win against the St. John's Edge here at the WFCU Center. Final seconds here. So the Express go 2-1 in their 3 games in 4 days, as this one is over. 108 to 95 is the score. Slow scoring in the first half, but nothing doing because the second half changes everything here as the Express pull through in the second half here, JP.
Yeah, nice pulling away here. It was pretty close, around 8 points for much of the game, the lead they've had, but in the end, they were able to just scrap away and get some execution on the turnovers forced with their hustle and the defensive clusters, able to pull away enough to get back to double digits and then keep it to double digits for the rest of the way. Huge victory for the Express tonight.
That's right. Happy birthday to Bill Jones. Once again, final score 108 to 95. The Express get 2 of 3 wins in their homestand here this week. We'll come back to wrap things up with the Knockstrom postgame right after this. All right, wrapping up business here at the WFCU Center. Final score once again, 108 to 95. The Windsor Express finally take care of business against the St. John's Edge at the WFCU Center. We're back up here at the media booth, and JP, once again, there's some things that is worth noting despite the slow start, but the Windsor Express, they pulled through, and it's mainly because of Shaq Keith. It was the Shaq Keith show all along. Yeah,
season high 29 points for him with this, and a strong performance indeed tonight, along with his 7 rebounds. That was the kind of game, though, you would expect tonight with this, where you need somebody that is good with not just scoring, but the free throws as well. He went 8 for 8 from the stripe, so somebody that really thrived, so to speak, with the way the flow went for much of tonight, and a strong performance for him, able to get the victory for the Windsor Express.
Sefton Barrett, an admirable effort from him. That's worth noting from him because he was the one that you keep on boasting over and over again as a guy that promotes a lot of hustle for the Windsor Express defense and offensively, and he also got the job done too.
Yeah, you mentioned, of course, him, Sefton Barrett. Not many things that stand on the stat sheet, but it's the things that he did tonight that weren't on the stat sheet. The efforts to disrupt the passes going on from the inside back towards the perimeter, towards the top of the three-point line. The chaos trying to get the double teams, trying to cause pressure on the inside. Few forced steals. One of the steals that technically you can credit towards him that started it, Chad Frazier was the one who capped that off, of course, to get that one on the stat sheet. So a lot of things he did very well tonight, Sefton Barrett, for sure, that weren't on the stat sheet tonight, that really helped on the defensive side to really give themselves a statement, so to speak, for their pressure that they needed to have tonight.
Yeah, talk about the icing on the cake, too. But for the St. John's Edge, a lot of effort applied here. I mean, we've seen the dynamic duo do justice again. Carl English and Charles Hinkle, even though they came up short. But once again, I mentioned even before the clock hit 0-0, Wally Ellenson kept them together, even though the game was far away from their reach in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, Wally Ellenson coming off the bench, of course, with that, and just tried to, he's that kind of a player and kind of that person where he doesn't want to give up, doesn't want to basically just throw in the towel, so to speak. That's the type of player he's felt like to me and always has been, his time in Windsor, of course, now in St. John's. And we've seen that on the floor, trying to fight for any rebounds he could get, trying to get shots set up for him and his teammates when, if need be. So a lot of hustle plays for him off the bench, of course. Hinkle, of course, did have his scoring, as you mentioned, with the dynamic duel, 27 points.
Right.
But English kept out of it tonight, though, with only 14.
No 53 or 58-point performance from them, but you know what? It's the effort of them keeping the team together is one of the reasons why the St. John's Edge are one of those teams you really got to look out for playoffs. And speaking of playoffs, should that happen, I said it over and over again, it might come down to home court advantage, but considering what we've seen here tonight, it might be a changing of the guard, because if you look at the Windsor Express ever since the transaction deadline, they have been clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, they definitely have, and one of our past interviews with Onway Stevenson, of course we interviewed him tonight, but in the past, he said this himself where he felt Windsor was the hottest team in the NBLC. They've been off and on a little bit for this month after the red-hot February, but now, with this victory, they still have a somewhat strong chance to get themselves into the second seed to get the home court for the first-round playoff matchup. So, absolutely one of the best teams right now for sure after the transaction deadline. They kept it simple. Brought in Kevin Loisel, a guy they can use. And now, Loisel helping with the team, of course, not active tonight, but somebody that's been helping since the transaction deadline. And on top of that, bringing in the right players to fit their system at the right times. That was, I think, their mindset coming into February to get themselves victories. And now, we're seeing it pay dividends for getting the right players they wanted.
Absolutely. They go 2-1 in their 3 games in the last 4 days. Keep in mind, they're right into the middle of a 7-game homestand, so they're going to have a little bit of breathing room. But is it enough to panic here? Because knowing that they don't play again until next Friday against the KW Titans, a team that time and time again have proven that they could put up a close game, but cannot seal the deal.
I'm going to say this once again. This was the worry for Coach Bill Jones the last time they had a bit of a layoff like this, where basically you didn't have enough time really to keep up to game speed. So basically, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a worry for them, but there's a less of a time off in this case where you went 2 for 1, basically. The Windsor Express went 2 games, 1 loss in these past 3 games in 4 days. So you have that momentum on your side. You have a team feeling they can keep it going and maybe leapfrog past St. John's in the standings. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do for next week. And St. John's, meanwhile, they just got to keep chugging along, because now London, I'm pretty sure now at this point, have the sole possession of the top of the standings for the Central.
No, that's right. Looking at the standings right now, no question about it. So St. John's, despite the loss, have a chance to leapfrog against the London Lightning for the top seed in the Central Division. But tonight, a different story as the Windsor Express prevail. Once again, they remain in 3rd place with the final score of 108-95. We thank all of you for watching. And once again, since this is St. Patrick's Day, for goodness sakes, be safe out there if you decide to do something here tonight, or if you have a safe night home, then take care of yourselves too, because that's what matters the most, that we look forward to have the pleasure of your company each and every game. So if you miss us next Friday, we'll miss you for sure. But other than that, have a good night. Special shout out to the St. John's fans that watch here tonight. We appreciate your support, and trust me, your team is going to go a long way in the NBLC. But as for us, that will do it right here. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody, and we'll see you next Friday with JP on the call. This has been a presentation of Knockstrom Digital Media, producing the media excellence in Southern Ontario. Till next Friday, for JP, Justin Prince, this be Aaron Sanders saying top of the evening to you, and so long from the Rose City.